say that being in college, it's good to actually be back to a worship song service that I can actually sing to. Andrews University tends to like to sing songs that I don't know the tune to, so I'm usually kind of, doing that kind of thing during song service. So it was actually kind of fun to bounce around a bit with you guys. Before I start with the worship talk, let me answer the question that is probably on everyone's mind here, and I know it is because I've been asked it at least 20 different times. Dylan, how is
college?
And what I have to say is no mere words could possibly completely prepare you for the travails and travesties of college. It is altogether a very different experience. It's, first of all, not quite as family-oriented. You guys with this family thing, it's pretty good. If you want family, you should go to the physics department because there's so few of us. Well, we all get to know each other. But also, it's very much more academic. So really, the best way to prepare for college is to go to college. That being said, you can do some stuff to sort of make the transition smoother. One recommendation is don't give yourself an easy senior year. Me being essay pastor, lead part in a school play, full load, half-time volunteer for Graves, I was pretty much prepared for college by my senior year. And I know a lot of you are tempted, oh, it's my senior year, I'm just going to lay back and take it easy. Then you go to college and, well, you get to school at 8:30 and you don't leave till 9:20 because you have GChem lab. So give yourselves an involved senior year. Not necessarily academically, but stay involved. Okay, now the reason why I'm here. Let's start with prayer. Jesus, I thank you for a new week and the new blessings. I thank you for your love, and I thank you for these people, my friends, high schoolers, wanting to know about you. And as I give my talk today, Lord, I ask that you will bless my words, make them your own, and put them in their heart, that they can walk these halls reflecting your love. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, I'm not seeing anybody up over in the tech booth right now. Is it possible we got the PowerPoint running? If not, we're going to have to use imagination. Imagination, okay. So anyway, what I was wanting to do today was share some of my passions with you and relate them to a spiritual concept. And one of my passions, which happens to be my academic minor, is chemistry. So I really worked hard. I got a nice periodic table up there and a wonderful PowerPoint presentation, but since it's not going to work, imagination. So we got the periodic table. And you juniors and seniors who've probably taken chemistry know what the periodic table is for. But for you freshmen and sophomores who've maybe only heard of it, you're kind of wondering, why does it look so weird? I mean, usually you see a table and it's like square and it has defined columns, but the periodic table is like everywhere, and you're wondering, what's with that? It turns out that throughout the years, they kept trying to organize these chemical elements that they were finding. They tried alphabetically and then in the order of how they found it, but nothing made sense. And then one day, one smart aleck realized that when he put the molecule sodium in water, it went boom. And then when he put the potassium atom in water, it went an even bigger boom. And then when you put cesium in, they had to take cover because the boom was so big, they would die. Oh. So they started realizing that things started repeating. Patterns started repeating. Carbon makes very good bonds. The thing right below it, silicon, makes very good bonds. And if you go over, you see helium, neon, krypton, xenon, the noble gases, who are all very stable. So they started realizing, oh, wait, we're starting to see some periodicity, some trends. And so we have the periodic table. So we say that the periodic table is designed to group elements that have similar characteristics. But does that make them the same? It's not a rhetorical question. I would like a response. Exactly. So like, you know H2O, right? Water, dihydrogen monoxide. Incidentally, oxygen and sulfur are in the same group. They have similar qualities. But I'll tell you that dihydrogen monoxide and dihydrogen monosulfide, I guess is what it would be called, are not the same. In fact, if our world was made of H2S, it would all be evaporated by this point and we all died because we have no water. It would suck.
Yeah.
So clearly, even though the elements are grouped into similar trends, they are all unique. And of course, by this point, we could say, oh, Dillion knows, I know where Dillion's going with this. He's going to say that we're all unique, we all have good talents, that we all need to use for the glory of God. And you would be right. That is one of my points in this lecture. Because the truth is that God does give you each similar but not the same talents, abilities, and skills to use for God's glory. But I want to go a little bit deeper today and talk about what makes an atom unique from another atom. In other words, what makes oxygen so fundamentally different from fluorine? What has gold being a precious metal and mercury being a metal that kills us when we touch it? What in it? They're only one block apart. What makes them different? And the answer is protons and electrons, positively and negatively charged particles. You see, oxygen will always have 8 protons. If you put 9 protons in there, it becomes fluorine. And you also get a big boom, but that's besides the fact. So the number of positively and negatively charged particles define the reactivity and the characteristics of that atom. You will never find a sodium atom that doesn't have 11 protons in it. And so I wonder, the same way, does God put, I know this is going to sound corny, but follow the analogy. Does God put positively and negatively charged events into our lives to give us different reactivities? Could it, we usually talk about how God blesses us to show us that He's in the universe, but we never really talk about the negative stuff. Because, why would a good God cause pain and stuff like that? But could it be that God gives us both positively and negatively charged events in our lives to give us different reactivities? I think so. You have Bibles in there, I know you do. I want you to pull them out right now because I don't have a PowerPoint, so the verse isn't up there. So pull out your Bibles and turn into the book of Genesis, chapter 45. Genesis chapter 45. And we are looking for verse 5. Say amen when you have it. Say have mercy if you don't have it.
Have mercy.
Okay, I'll give you like 20 more seconds. Amen? Amen. All right, let's read, guys. So here's the context of the story. Joseph, the guy who was put to Egypt. He was a slave, and then suddenly, on one day, became the second most powerful ruler in the world. So he's finally revealed himself to his brothers. And in verse 5, they're all panicking now because, he has totally the power to chop off their heads and stuff. But in verse 5, he says, "And now do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land. For the next 5 years there will not be plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, to save your lives by great deliverance." A negatively charged event. Joseph was sold into Egypt. He got thrown into prison. He got beaten, stuff like that. Negatively charged events that gave him a certain reactivity. Because if he was not put in Egypt, the world would have died. Let me give you a more close-to-home experience. Those of you who were here last year figured out towards the year that I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And in essence, let me just put it in a few words. It's basically where your immune system decides that your intestines are a great thing to eat. It sucks! It sucks! And many times I would ask myself, God, essay pastor, I'm supposed to make a difference. ¿Por qué? And because it really slowed me down. My first semester, I was bouncing all over the place. Then second semester, I was crawling through the halls.